Hey beautiful people, what's up? Today we're going to talk about how to estimate time for your design projects. Most of the time when we get any project, we are excited to do it, and sometimes the deadlines we provide are realistic, but we do not consider all the variables that come into it. In this video, we're going to discuss all of that. The first thing, you have to identify what your actual working hours are. At 9:30 I start working until 10:30 is 1.5 hours is my productive hour. And then after that, my productive hour starts from 2 to 5:30. Rest time, it goes into responding to emails, going to meetings. So 6 hours a day is my productive hours, and you should also realize what your productive hours are. The next thing is you have to ask this: are the product requirements or project requirements complete? Because most of the time what happens is you quote a deadline, you are following that, and in between your manager comes or your boss comes and tells you to include this, include that. You have to really ask if the project requirements are clear or not. And if they are not, you can say the timeline that I will be giving to you will not be the final one. It can change if the requirements come. So this is not the actual timeline. They will modify if the requirements modify. And one more prerequisite is that you have to ask is what the actual deliverables are. Deliverables usually alter in timeline. If someone wants an interactive prototype, then there is a separate timeline for that, because that may take you longer time. If someone wants a visual design with custom interactions and custom illustration and all, then those things take separate time. So you have to ask what are the deliverables that they would want you to deliver at the end of the project. Let's get into the granularity of how to time a design project. So the first thing is, as soon as you get the product requirement and they ask you how much time is it going to take, you go through them once. So you can tell them that I see that you have given me the requirements. I just want a little bit time to process all these. After doing all that, I'll be able to give you a more exact timeline. The second thing is, as soon as this is over, product requirements are frozen and now you are good to go. There won't be any changes. The next thing you have to do is you have to make a task list. A task list is basically the number of things that you have to do in the particular project. So quite recently, I've been doing a project that I have to deliver from scratch. Now, since I'm doing a product from scratch, there are no flows, no wireframes, nothing that is there. I had the requirements which are frozen. So what I did was I created the list of tasks I have to do every day in order to deliver the MVP they were expecting. So I made a list of things like I have to make a login flow, I have to make a sign up flow, I have to make a listing screen, I have to make a profile screen and things like that. And even in that, I made subtasks. Like a login screen will have flows like sign up flow, error flows, error screens, no network connectivity, screens like that. So you really have to divide your task to the very granularity of it, because each of these tasks doesn't appear when you look at a project holistically. But when you start doing it, start implementing it, these things come up. And just remember guys, if you have to create something, it will take time. It might take little bit of time, but adding up these little things all together does consume a lot of your time. Divide your task to the most smallest pieces. As I mentioned in the first prerequisite, that you have to give the timeline according to your productive work hours rather than your actual working hours. The second thing that people forget to do is to calculate a buffer time. Buffer time is very important to add up in the project time estimate. That say, if I have in my mind that it will take me 10 days to complete a project, adding 20% to that roughly gives me 2 days more. So now I will quote 12 working days. And the third thing is that you have to add chaos time. Now, this is something that I have very recently discovered. Your device can get corrupted. There may be Wi-Fi downtime in your office. So chaos time is something which you should add. Now what you have to do is you have to add 20% of your original estimated time and your buffer time. For me, it was 12 hours. Now adding 20% to it gives me roughly 2.5 more days. So now what I'll do is I'll quote approximately 15 days to complete the project. These are some of the ways that I use to estimate timeline. This is one last thing that I really want to talk about is iteration cycles. So iteration cycles shouldn't be actually a part of this estimate cycle, because iterations sometimes might take longer than what you expect, because your stakeholders might be busy. There might be a lot of stakeholders, so the project has to go through a lot of people in order to get a feedback. There can be really complex feedback that you need to discuss or have a meeting for. So iteration cycles ideally should be blocked separately and should not be included in your project estimate. Chaos time and buffer time are something that you should keep to yourself. You should consider it, divide the timeline accordingly, but you should not explicitly say that these 2 days I'm taking it to as a buffer time and these 2 days are my chaos time, so in case something goes wrong. So that's it guys, these are some of the tips that I have to give you about how to estimate more correct timelines of your design project. If you use some of these or if they would help you, please do mention it in the comments. I would love to hear about that. And if you have any questions or any follow-up questions that you have to ask, please mention in the comments. I'll make a separate video about how to negotiate time in a project where the deadlines are very close or very unrealistic. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon, or follow me on Instagram at UXANDMORE, whichever works for you, so you get updated as when I upload the video. That's been it, guys. This is Manav Madan. Thanks for watching UXANDMORE, a channel about design, products, business, and more. See you. Have a good day.